Hi guys, my name is Parker Tiffany, otherwise known as Mr. Tiffany, and today I'd like to share a couple of different elements that I want to be present in my classroom in order to create a certain type of culture. This is also known as my classroom philosophy. So without respect, education does not ensue. When a teacher is autocratic to a degree where it upsets students, they will lose respect for the teacher. The same goes for when the teacher has too little control in the classroom. If students are not taking the teacher seriously, then they're clearly not respecting them either. This is why it is necessary for a teacher to command respect, but not enough to frighten or annoy students into not respecting the teacher. I personally know this will not be a problem for me. Small disturbances do not usually bother me because, after all, kids will be kids. But with that being said, I know when to correct actions and keep said disturbances from going too far and affecting the education of other students. Now, while it's important for students to respect their teacher, it is equally important for the teacher to respect the students. It is almost impossible for someone to connect with somebody else unless they respect each other. I, for one, always hated it when I was treated like a child in high school. This means I will tell my students at the beginning of the year that I'm going to treat them as adults. So, as long as they reciprocate the same respect, they're going to be treated correctly. Because of this, education will easily occur in my classroom because of the mutual respect between my students and I. In addition to that, relationships are one of the most important elements to creating a successful classroom in which students can achieve their best. When there is not a respecting relationship between the teacher and students, communication does not occur in an easy and fluid manner. Because communication is not as clear and moves slowly, it can often affect how well education occurs. Oftentimes, if a student does not feel important and cared for, they will simply zone out and not give any attention to the teacher. But when a teacher is able to connect with the students and vice versa, then students tend to be much more attentive during class. One of the best quotes I've ever heard relating to this topic came from my high school woodshop teacher and now personal friend, Dan Miller. He said, "Don't limit yourself to only what you are teaching. It is okay to get off subject if it means you, the teacher, can learn something about your student that will help you reach them better." This struck a chord with me because very rarely did I ever see a teacher say it was okay to get off topic when the interest of the student is at hand. If the student feels appreciated and supported, then students won't want to let the teacher down, and they're going to give their best at almost all times in the classroom. In the end, being an expert on the content area is 100% necessary, but having all of that knowledge is pointless if you aren't able to efficiently and correctly communicate that knowledge to your students. Along with that, collaboration is a key to ensuring the success of all students, as well as interaction between students and teachers. What I mean by this is teachers are human too, and they can't necessarily know how to reach every single student right off the bat, especially if they're new. And so to help with this, it's important for teachers to collaborate with other instructors in order to get ideas on way to maybe reach different students. And this is especially so if, each teacher has had that specific student before, then they can more easily figure out a way to reach that student and help their education. I also think it's important for student and teachers to interact, not just in the classroom, but maybe outside of school. You kind of have to be the same person, and you can't just be two different people. It's important for teachers to support their students in ways that you wouldn't mainly think of other than just going to school. It's important for teachers to go to their students, their games, their extracurriculars, and just be able to be there and interact with them in order to build a relationship. I also believe it's important for students to be asked by the teacher what they want to see differently. It's important for teachers to just be upfront and honest with students in order to see that they really do see them as adults and they really do care about their education. Along with that, dedication is necessary to ensure the academic success of students. Oftentimes, teachers care too little about how well a student does. They adopt the idea that it is not their job to help the students reach their fullest potential. This tragedy doesn't occur when the teacher is dedicated. There should be a passion, a fire, even a fire within teachers today to help students do their best and give it their all. If a student doesn't understand a concept or a formula or even a request, it is not the teacher's place to say, "Oh well," and move on to the next. It is their duty, their job, and their obligation to dedicate time to finding a way to help the student understand. When somebody doesn't understand something, I absolutely love helping them figure it out if I understand it. Even if I don't understand it, I generally will go put in the work to figure out a way to find a different approach to help that student understand it. Um, I challenge myself to make sure that they figure it out, they understand it, and they will be able to then on the next time do that concept or that instruction on their own. So I know, and because I find fun in this and it's easy for me to do, I know this will not be a problem in my classroom. So in conclusion, I just want to go over the non-negotiables that will be present in my classroom in order to help create that culture. First off, students will respect teachers and teachers will respect students. Again, without that, education cannot ensure. In addition to that, relationships are absolutely important. So teachers are able to fully understand students and their questions and be able to reach them and help teach them to their fullest potential. Along with that, collaboration and interaction between students and teachers and faculty in and of themselves is also extremely important to help ensure the education of students. And finally, dedication, along with those other three non-negotiables, is the final step in ensuring a student's education. So I just wanted to say thank you for your time, and I can't wait to start the year with you guys.